There will be sweeping, there will be tapping, there will be picking. It's an all chops Metal Bass Monday. So starting this week off, some updates for my patrons and subscribers. Going to be doing another live chat coming up at the beginning of the week. I'll be announcing that soon, and towards the end of the week, I'm going to be looking into a video live feed. So I got a couple cool topics coming up, and the behind the scenes. I hope all you dug that. Let you know on some of the things that are coming up here on the channel, and some of the incentives for the patrons, and for my top tier subscribers and patrons. The guided practice routine and schedule is coming up here in the next couple of days, so you'll be able to jump on that and get started, and I think it's really going to be a boost for you. So again, thank you so much. Links down below if you'd like to join the community. It's been a cool thing. We meet up on the Discord server once in a while here, and there's different levels. So Patreon, Subscribe Star, jump on board. Love to have you, and appreciate the support from all of you. And to thank all my patrons and subscribers. Thank you, Makathu, Kevin Toole, ICKY, still not sure if that's just Icky, Ryan Huggard, Mark Orth, Power Surge 5000, the man known only still as Chris, Stephen Becker, Stu Bennett, TJ Meechan, and my man Rat Bones. Much appreciated to all of you. Good stuff coming up. I hope you're enjoying it so far, and all the things that I've given you as far as updates, rolling out as soon as I can get them out here. So, thanks again. Let's get into the chops. First off, a little bit more cable gloat. I mean, come on, how awesome is that? I mean, that thing is just insane. Something very cool made for me by Tsunami Cable. Love that. In any case, what I'm going to show is, like I showed last time, something that's in actually a couple of my bass solo and gear demo pieces, and something people have asked about. So I'm going to show exactly what I'm doing, how I'm putting it together, and why I do it the way I do, because it opens up avenues for some other things and playability, and I hope you'll take advantage of that too. So let's take a quick look. Okay, it's kind of a weird sounding riff, but it's actually pretty simple, and I'm actually not tapping. So it opens the door for some tapping, but that's not really what's going on. So what I'm doing is actually a little bit of pretty basic sweeping in a rapid manner, but done in a way that makes it sound kind of bizarre. So let's take a look here. I'm not actually tapping, but my hand's around the 14th fret. I'm pulling the string like that. And then I'm hammering on, just like you would tap, the 7th and 10th fret. And then this is the whole set of notes that you'll be using. It's the 7th and 10th. And then these top two are the 9th. So it's... So if you pull the string and then hammer on, then I'm, again, not tapping, bringing this down by just dragging across the string. So you get... And I'm just moving it back and forth between two positions, starting on the 7th and then starting on the 5th. So it's kind of a weird chromaticism. It has some kind of a disorienting effect, and it can be hard to figure out. But really all I'm doing is... So some things to remember is that I'm keeping my thumb on the side of the neck as kind of a fulcrum to move up and down, but I'm also using the edge of the thumb to mute the B string. Then my finger, my index, is actually muting the E, so I can get... These aren't ringing out. That's what's keeping this fairly clean. And I don't have to do what a lot of guys are doing, where they, have to wrap all the stuff around the top of their neck to keep it from ringing out, and it also would mute this open note that you're hitting. So what's also going on here with my right hand is it's just a constant pulling motion. just like if I were, playing 3-finger or even 2-finger plucking. It's just a slow drag. Either I'm going just over one string or I'm doing all 3 down. So it's... Now, I'm not holding these stripped. I'm getting little blurs, little pieces of the chords as it's going. That's what makes it interesting to me. It's not just a straight, robotic type of thing. You're getting pieces. Sometimes it's hitting individual, and sometimes you're getting a blur of the different double stops. That, to me, is more interesting and creates these kind of little blurring, inconsistent patterns that I like. Especially when you use like a lot of gain, like what I'm doing here and everything. So you're going to have to keep it fairly clean and just make sure that you're not getting an excessive amount of noise. You are going to get some. That's how high gain works. But you're going to get, some strange overtones and things. I kind of like it, so I let it fly a little bit. You can tighten it up or not. Now, one of the reasons why, like I talked about with that piece in last Metal Bass Monday with that I choose to keep my hand on the neck rather than switch to slap a lot of times and things, is I like being able to switch techniques quickly. I feel like that's a place where a lot of players get stuck, is they pick a technique for something they're doing and then they stick with that technique all the way through. So, if they're slapping, they slap the whole time, or they put in the one tap or something. If they're tapping, they tap the whole time. If they're fingerstyle, they fingerstyle the whole riff. They don't combine multiple layers of things to achieve more interesting type of textures. So like with this one, if I wanted to, you could, or if you wanted to, you could add in some actual tapping because your hand's already in place for it. So if I wanted to go up top and then add I could do that in between and make it any piece that you feel like you might want to add in. You can switch from one right into the other. So that's kind of why my technique is adapted to trying to get as much out of standard positioning and just moving my hand around rather than having to transition so hard, being able to just go. Having that is the same to me as you have those pieces available and then into tapping as well. It's all right there underneath of your hands. So that's idea number one. It's fairly simple, and you can see me do it in a number of different pieces here and there on other gear demos and on that bass solo too. So let's check out one more idea. Now this one's another one that you're going to see all over. I find an incredible number of players use this same pattern over and over. I see it on Instagram and YouTube, and it's basically people hiding this one core piece over and over again. And it's really simple, and it's pretty effective, and I guess that's why everybody uses it. What it is taking, let's start at, say, the 12th fret, and we're going to use this finger, your middle, and your ring to bounce back and forth. Okay? So you've got on the E string and on the G string. And then we're going to go up to the 14th fret and use these two fingers to either roll up or down, depending on which one you like the sound of better. And you hit here, up and back. So it's an incredibly simple pattern, and you just move your fingers around inside your key, and you can come up with different patterns. You can start moving this one around, but the core piece of it, and I've used it myself, but I see players all over using it, that's all it is. Now, I've seen some bounce like that. I prefer to do this because it keeps me in position. You can do it either way. So you get the idea. It's a simple piece, but a lot of the guys you're seeing I guarantee you, when you see those kind of quick, short, 4-string movements, sometimes even 5, that's probably what they're doing in a lot of these things. I've seen so many players use it. I wanted to pass it on because, again, a lot of these guys are doing really rapid pieces, but that's hidden inside what they're doing. They're just moving this hand around a lot. So 2 pieces for you to work on, 2 new ideas. I hope those help. All right, so let's talk a little bit about something we haven't really covered here before, a little bit about picks. We had the great fingers versus pick debate. And down below in the comments, with some of the upcoming gear demos I'm doing and stuff like that, I debate a lot of times. I'm primarily a fingerstyle player, but are there enough of you guys that would like to hear some pick parts in gear demos and things to hear that flavor, or it doesn't matter to you either way? I thought about tossing some in, kind of debated on it, so hit me up below, let me know. But here's a couple of things that I've been looking at as far as picks, and a little bit about how I developed better speed with it, and some things that seem to go counter, not that I ever do that, with what's common vernacular with a lot of bassists, especially on the web, and maybe it's some things that'll help you out. So I got a handful of picks out here, and one is one of the massive ones that I find a lot of guys go at. This is a 2.0, and I used this for a while. Let me get all dialed in here. And it feels okay. It's got a grip, but I've moved away from this one. And my problem with the really larger picks are, it seems like that would be a better idea for bass. And I see a lot of guys that are, I'm picking on bass, bigger strings. I need a bigger... My problem has become with them, because they're so thick, that I don't get an intimate feel of the attack. It feels more like a smear, like it almost moves too easily. I know we're all trying to be able to cut back and forth across the strings, but it's almost like I can't feel it that well. It's like a bass condom. It just like cuts off my ability to really kind of feel where I am on the string. It almost moves too easily as I'm gliding across the strings. To the point where I start missing things because there's no grab. There's no place where I'm really kind of getting a feeling for, how... I don't feel very much in control with it. It's just too loose feeling. Now, the ones I use for guitar are these here, and a lot sharper and a lot thinner, and this feels better to me, which I never thought thinner picks would, but with me doing a lot of guitar chop things lately, my technique's kind of adapted from that, and these have started to feel a little more natural. I also get a little bit more grit out of it. And it's got a little bit more grind to it, plus I feel the string a little more, like I said. And that does it for me a little better. It's got some comfort to it, and again, I feel like I'm more in touch with the string. Recently, though, I came across some of these, which are from a Japanese company called Master 8. And that is a pretty sharp pick. It's basically a Jazz 3, but done slimmer and out of kind of a sharper sounding material. And it's really got a fine point on it. And this one has really started to become my favorite. It's even more slender, and it's got a bit more of a sharper cut in it. And this one, it just feels like I can not only go faster and easier, but I'm much more accurate with what I'm playing. I feel like the tone is sharper, the notes are clearer, and I just feel much more exact. This one really seems to, surprisingly, be the one I'm gravitating towards. It's slimmer than the others. It's pretty rigid. I can only bend it a little bit, but with some real effort. So it stays pretty stiff in my hands. It's got a decent grip on it, but the sharpness, I feel like it just gets me that with the bigger strings, it lets me rip across them a lot faster, almost like a the turntable needle, and it's a bit more surgical. So again, what's right for you may not be right for someone else, and vice versa. So after a long time of experimenting, I feel like I'm kind of abandoning the really thick, massive picks or the large grip ones and going for something much sharper. Now, as far as developing speed, I feel like this is one place where we can learn a lot from some of the guitar examinations out there and how pick is primarily geared towards that. The funny thing is, the slightly larger ones like this, it's not that different, but the yellow Ultex versus this one, this sharper one doesn't do as well for me on guitar. This bigger one does. I think it's, thinner strings, I need more of a grip. Larger strings, I need to get through them quicker. But if you haven't checked it out, there's a series from Troy Grady, and he does a phenomenal thing of examining what's called pick slant, and what most players don't realize they're doing. And what pick slanting is it's the difference in between hitting the string directly on like this. So if you're looking at it this way, hitting with the pick almost flat versus having an angle to it. And that can make all the difference, not just in speed, but in your overall tone. I see a lot of bassists that sit at the back and you can do that, but just a little bit of angle, way less effort and way quicker. It also kind of creates this motion rather than almost like you're stuttering over stairs by trying to flat pick. So I'm going to bring the camera in and show exactly what I'm talking about and really encourage you to look into pick slanting and really getting your hand positioning down if you're going to do pick playing, or if you haven't and you're looking into it. It can make a world of difference, and I really encourage you checking it out. So let's take a look at it. So here is basically flat picking. So the pick is straight up and down, and it's hitting. What I'm doing is basically almost just pushing the thumb forward so that you get a little bit of a cross cut. So if I'm straight like this, this would be about where it sits. So you get that kind of an angle. And I'm really choked up on the pick here. You can see there's not a lot, let me get that in focus actually, not a lot coming out. So not this. That's much harder to control, and you're not going to get it as precise, and you're not going to, you want kind of that gliding across. You don't want to be pushing the whole way to the string. So versus, see, it's even hard for me to do it. I would have to almost go back to holding it with 2 fingers or something to get it to brace. If you can see the back of the pick, let me see if I can open up. That shows you what kind of angle I'm at. See how it moves kind of like a knife edge across the strings. So that's going to wrap up this Metal Bass Monday. Again, hit me down below and let me know how your pick's working out. Have you experimented and what's working out for you? And thanks again, as always, to my patrons and subscribers. So much more coming up for the channel and so much more content on both of those for you. It's been really fun and I've really enjoyed it, as always. So that's it for this week. I will see you on those channels and on the next one of these. Take care. Wait! Don't go. You never know. Moments like this are crucial. the next video you watch could change your life. And it might be this one, or even this one. Are you willing to take that chance? I don't know. Check them out.